welcome back to the SLWG Author Series. This is your new president, St. Louis Writers Guild, David Allen Lucas. And with me is our past president and author of Iron Horseman, Brad R. Cook.
Hello, hello.
And recently Brad just did an entire workshop on pitching and querying your work. So it was called Pitching and Querying How to Track Down a Literary Agent or Publisher. And that's without using a bear trap. So,
no bear traps in this one.
No bear traps. So let's start off, Brad. What makes pitching and querying? Are they different?
They are very different. They utilize the same tools, though. So we'll start with querying. So everything that you do, no matter if you're querying or if you're pitching or anything like that, you need kind of some basic essentials, which is a query letter and a synopsis is always good to have, and a log line is really helpful. If you have those three things, then you can pitch and you can query, and you have no problems doing that. Querying is kind of specific. You need a query letter, and you can find a ton of query letters online. I highly recommend Googling query letter, and it's give you way more information than I could. So that's a great place to start. But the query letter contains three things, and those three things are really easy. So you start off with an introduction, which is a quick little thing about the book, the statistics of the book, word count, is it completed, genre, name, your name, the book's title, all that fun stuff. And then another good one is the main body of the paragraph. That's about the book, so that's where you're going to talk about the book. And that's a good thing because you can pull from your synopsis and create that beautiful paragraph that's going to describe your book. And then the third thing you need is a little paragraph about you, but that can be anything. So it does not have to be a huge long list of writing credentials. It's okay. So
let me ask you real quick.
Yeah.
Difference between fiction and nonfiction. There's always been a talk about fiction book. You need to have your book complete before you query. Nonfiction, the rumor out there is it does not have to be complete. What would you say? I love your laugh. Tell me, what are your thoughts on that?
It's always good to have a completed book. Now, I will say there are huge differences between fiction and nonfiction. So the biggest thing about fiction is that you have to have the book finished. And that's because the agent, when they see it, they're going to run with it, and they're going to start moving on that book ASAP. So it's not 6 months down the road after you've totally worked on it for a while. Nonfiction's a little bit different. Nonfiction's all about your platform. So why are you qualified to write the book you wrote? And then the other, side of that is you don't actually have to have the finished product done. You can say, I want to write a book about this. I'm, knowledgeable on the subject matter. Here's my outline. Here's some pages that I've written up and stuff like that. You can go through and find it that way. But nonfiction is really much more about your platform, and you can find all about platform by Googling writer's platform and all that kind of fun stuff.
Before I talk about pitching, or before I ask you about pitching, you mentioned something a moment ago, a log line. Okay, so I go out, I chop down a tree, I lay it down in a line? No, what is a log line?
That is a tough question, actually. It's a simple answer, but there are many facets to it. So it's sometimes known as an elevator pitch, the log line, comp titles, a few different things like that. But essentially what it boils down to is it is your book encapsulated into a single sentence, usually 25 to 35 words long. It can be 1 to 2, maybe 3 sentences at the max. But the point is, it is a single sentence that encapsulates everything about your book. And they are really hard to craft. I'm not even going to try and pretend that they are simple and easy. Trying to encapsulate a couple 100-page book into literally nothing more than a single sentence is kind of difficult. But you can also have the other form of a log line is comp titles, which is something meets something. Harry Potter meets this, or Star Wars meets like Firefly would be Star Wars meets the Cowboy of the Old West or something like that. So you can do that. Those are comp titles, and Hollywood uses these, the industry uses them, and the reason they call it an elevator pitch is you've got just a moment to capture somebody's attention with your book. The log line is exactly how you're going to do it.
Okay. Pitching. Okay, so how do you pitch your story? How do you pitch your story or nonfiction book, poetry book, whatever, and where do you do this at?
Well, pitching is a conference thing. So querying is how every writer talks to agents. Every writer sends a query letter off and talks to the agents and has a good time sending those out. Pitching is at a conference. You can do them a couple of different ways. We talked about various ways at the workshop, but I'm going to talk about conferences today. So you go to a conference, and part of the conference, hopefully, is a few minutes in front of an agent, and a literary agent or a publisher, an editor of a house maybe. And you have just those 5-10 minutes to sell your book to this person. The beauty part is you're live, you're in person, it's one-on-one, you're sitting down in front of the person, which is beautiful because then it's a face and a name with a book. And that trifecta will really help agents remember you, publishers remember you, they'll remember the story better, you can talk to them, ask questions, but that's pitching. It is essentially your query letter spoken out in front of an agent.
So, should you practice your pitch line, or
Yes.
or some people you should practice with, or do you just walk in cold?
I say practice with everybody. No, practice, practice, practice. I gave out a bunch of tips, actually, and practice, practice, practice was one of them. So tell your dog, tell your wife, tell your mother, tell anyone, tell the guy on the street, though that can get weird, so you might want to hold off on that. Tell a pillow, tell the wall, practice. The point is that when you sit down, if you can remember that, if you have it in your head, if you have it as a sense memory, then you can just call it up, talk about it. It becomes a conversation. It's not you reading like this and giving them the top of your head. It's never a good shot. But yeah, so that's definitely one of the things. The other thing is to come and understand what you're doing. So you have 5-10 minutes with an agent. Only use half that time to pitch your book. You want to leave the other half open for questions, trust me.
So, and a lot of the conferences I've gone to is about 5 minutes. So,
yeah,
roughly 2-minute pitch. Let them Q&A you for 3 minutes, give or take.
Exactly. And the point is that yes, you're pitching the book, and you're all about that. But after you pitch the book, the agent's going to have a question. You want them to have questions. You want them to ask you about your character, about your plot, your themes, all that kind of fun stuff. But if you use 4.5 minutes of your 5 minutes that you're sitting there in front of an agent, then they get 30 seconds to ask you a question. That's one question, maybe half an answer, and the bell rings and you got to get up. But if you only use 2 minutes and you've got 3 minutes left over, or you use 2.5 minutes, you got 2.5 minutes left over. It's 2.5 minutes of the best conversation about books you'll ever have.
And I've got one other question for you before I move on to how you track your queries and how you track your pitches. You've gone to multiple conferences. You've done your pitching. You've seen other people pitch.
Yes.
Same here. And you've been on that side of the table.
Yeah.
Where
been on both
pitched.
sides.
Yeah. Where you got pitched too. I have seen people come in, and you and I have talked offline about people coming in and bringing gifts to the perhaps agent or perhaps publisher. Like, I don't know, someone's brought in a bag of nuts to someone brought in a bottle of tequila.
Yep, that's the best one I've ever seen.
Yeah. So
They
is
brought
that something that
bottles
should
of
be
tequila.
done? Should I bring in some type of gift?
You don't have to. Let's put it that way. No, actually, it's probably best not to bring something. That was one.
Sorry, everybody. Slight camera issue. Okay. Go ahead.
So, we can probably just clip that. But anyway, point being is that when you do bring something, you can bring first chapters are wonderful, wonderful pieces to bring, especially anything that's got your writing on it. But here's the thing. The agent's probably not going to take that. Why? They came with a suitcase. They're leaving on an airplane. There's weight issues, there's space issues, and if they are going to meet 100 some odd people at that conference, and everyone handed them something, they need a suitcase just for that. Now, having said that, I have seen somebody bring bottles of Patron to, hand out to the agent that they were pitching to. So, did that get her a book? I don't think so. But it did make her memorable.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not the right way, though.
Question was asked of you at the workshop. I'm just going to say it and answer it for us real quick, and then we're going to move on to queries, tracking your queries. A lot of new writers, or a lot of writers out there, talk about bringing a flash drive with their novel on it. Don't do that.
Do not do that. You never want to bring in, agents never accept, a lot of agents do not accept attachments. And for the same reason, they're not going to accept a flash drive. There's too much of a risk of viruses and all kinds of fun stuff. So, yes, it'd be really nice and really small and convenient and compact just to hand off. But trust me, what you're really looking for out of a pitch is those magical words of, I like this, I want to see it, send me a partial, send me the full, I want to see the first 5 pages, I want to see the first 30 pages, I want to see the entire thing. That's what you're looking for.
Here's my business card with my email for you to contact me. That's what you want.
Yeah, if you can get a card from them, that's gold. That's like a golden ticket.
Okay, so queries, pitches, and so forth. I don't know about other people, but we all juggle a lot. How do you track it?
Okay. This was the beauty part of, so for those of you who've been around St. Louis Writers Guild for a few years, yes, I've done that workshop a couple times. We usually do it as a conference kickoff. This year, though, we did something a little different. So Query Tracker is this, querytracker.net. I'm just going to totally go ahead and shoot it out to them. They are an amazing service. So they're an online resource. They have a multi-tiered function, so you can just use the service and go to the website, check it out. You can give them your name and your email account, and it's free to sign up for they have a free section. And then they have a premium section where you can pay $25 a year and, have unlimited use of the site. But the beauty thing about Query Tracker is that it is a database that is maintained mostly by the community, but they're people who run the site. But it is a wonderful database of every publisher and every agent out there. And the beauty thing about Query Tracker, if you use either the free site or the premium side, is that it has all kinds of information about them. So it lists what genres they're looking for. It's got comments from other people who have, queried them. How long did it take them to respond? What kind of responses did they get? It gives you their email addresses, their websites, how they accept queries. So if it comes in via snail mail or electronically or a form. So there's all kinds of stuff. Now the premium side, it'll actually track your queries for you. So say you submitted to this agent with one query letter, then you submit to another agent with another query letter. It'll keep track of the dates, who you sent it to. You sent this agent this query letter, but you sent that agent this query letter. It'll help you remind yourself, do I need to nudge this agent, all that kind of fun stuff. Query Tracker is an amazing resource for that, and we kind of went through a little bit of step-by-step with it. It's not the only one. I also throw out Agent Query, AAR, and then most of the big writers groups actually maintain a list of publishers and agents who are approved by them or have somehow proven that they're not shady people. So,
yeah, there's big writers groups.
Yes, big writers groups. I was just about to get into that, like RWA, which is the Romance Writers of America, the Mystery Writers of America, the Science Fiction Writers of America, even Writers Guild of America, even SCBWI, which is for kids. All of those maintain databases, and you have to be a member to get into those. So, pick and choose your genre. But they are wonderful resources. But Query Tracker is open to everybody, and it is a great resource for that.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah,
and everyone else out there, we'll talk to you again